Hey everybody, welcome to Boardgame Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm taking a look at Karakum by Brain Games. This game was designed by Arif Nizi Savi with illustrations by Laimis Koudikis, and it's a game for 2 to 4 players ages 8 and up, which plays in about 15 minutes. It's a card game, a set collection game with some really nice artwork, and before I explain how to play the game and share my thoughts on it, I'd like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're already a subscriber, you're an absolute legend. Really helps the channel. Also, please check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below. Patreons of my channel will get early access to all of my videos, access to Patreon exclusive videos, and their name in the credits. Plus, you'll be saving up for physical goodies as well. All right, with that out of the way, let's set up a game. To set up the game, separate all the cards in the box into their 3 types: the Caravan Master cards, the Camel cards, and the Resource cards. The Caravan Master cards have a male and a female side, otherwise every player just takes one of these. The Camel cards have different colored camels on them with different values. And the resource cards have 5 different colored resources, plus the gold card, which is a wild card. So every player takes one of these cards, and any remaining cards are returned to the box. You shuffle all the camel cards and you remove 12 random cards from the deck for a 2-player game. You remove 8 cards for a 3-player game. You keep all the cards for a 4-player game. Once both decks are shuffled, you place them in the middle of the table and you reveal the top 5 cards of the resource deck and also the top 5 cards of the camel deck. Then you deal 5 cards from the resource deck to each player. You decide who gets to go first, and that is the entire setup. Now you're ready to play. Let's explain the rules. On a player's turn, you can do one of 2 possible actions. You can either gather resources or buy a camel. Let's start with gathering resources. On a player's turn, you get to draw 2 resources either from the market or blind from the deck. When a face-up card is drawn, you immediately replace it with a new one. And you can also combine taking 1 card from the open market and 1 card from the deck. Whenever you pick a gold card, though, you cannot pick or draw another card, except if you happen to be lucky enough to draw a gold card from the face-down deck. But once you've picked a card, you cannot draw a gold card as your second card either. There is no limit to the number of cards that you hold in your hand. The other option you can do is buying a camel. You can buy one of the face-up camels here in the market, and in order to buy one, you need to pay the resources of the color that's depicted on the camels in the bottom here. And to do that, you simply discard resources from your hand until you meet the requirements. So for example, right now, I could discard a green resource card and buy this camel since it only costs 1 green resource. But since this is a camel that only costs 1 resource, all those camels have a +1 card symbol right here printed on them. That means after I buy this, I will put it next to my Caravan Master like so, I can still get a resource. And that can be a gold one. So I'm going to pick that one. Why not? This is refilled. And only after I'm done, after I've ended my turn, the camel market is refilled. And you don't just put a new card in the empty spot, but the other camels slide to the right and the new one is revealed next to the deck. Now, an important rule is that the first camel, that color, indicates that all camels of that same color cost 1 extra resource. Now in this case there is only 1 purple camel. There are no other purple camels in the market. So this one alone costs 2 resources. Had this been the first card, then that would mean that this blue one costs 5 and that blue one costs 3. So if this one was still over here, and I wanted to buy on the next turn this purple camel, then not only would I have to discard this purple card, but I would have to add a second purple resource, and I could use the gold one to do that. So I discard those two cards, then I can buy this and put it next to my caravan. Now, whenever buying a new camel and placing it in your caravan, the next camel must always either match the number or the color on the card. So then at the end of my turn, a new camel is revealed. This is a green one. This will cost 3 now. There are no other green ones. So my next camel would either have to be a purple camel or a camel that costs only 1. Now I don't have any resources anymore, so on my next turn I would have to grab some more resources. Maybe I want these 2 orange ones because I want to buy that orange camel if nobody else beats me to it, of course. Then you refill the market again with new resources, and I can always buy any camel I want as long as I can pay the resources, even if it doesn't match my current caravan. So what happens when I buy a camel that doesn't immediately match here, either purple or the 1 resource? Then if I buy, for example, this camel with my 2 orange resources, I put it in front of my caravan on this side, and I can put as many camels here as I want, and they don't need to match at all. And then later, at any time, if I manage to get a camel here, for example, a orange 1 camel over here, then I could take this and immediately put it next to that card back into the caravan. So let's say later in the game I got some more resources. I'm just going to grab a few here. That's a bit much. So I'll grab these. If I wanted to buy a camel with a certain resource that I do not have enough cards for, so for example right now I've got 4 green. I could of course buy this one for 3. I could also buy this one, because even though I only have 4 green resources and this one currently costs 5, I can always swap 2 cards of any resource for 1 card of a chosen color. So if I really needed to get that one right here, I could pay the 4 right here, plus the 1 extra that I needed because this is the more expensive one. I could pay with these 2 orange ones, and then I could buy this. And then again, I can't put it directly here, so I'm going to put it in front of my caravan. And then replenish the market. Now the red camels are a little bit more expensive. If at the end of a player's turn the market cannot be refilled with a new camel card because there are no more cards in the deck, then the game ends and players proceed to scoring. So at the end of the game, let's say that, for example, this was my caravan right here. We've got a 1 and a 3. And let's say just that's it. Then you add up all the values of the camels in your caravan on the right here. So that would be 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Plus you add the added value of all of your camels on the left, divided by 2, rounded down. So if you cannot get these camels into your caravan, they're only worth half. So in this case, that would be 6, rounded down, that's 3. So I would have a total of 9 points. And of course, the player with the most points wins, and in the event of a tie, the player with the longest caravan wins the game, and if that's still a tie, then the tied players share the victory. Those are all the rules for playing Karakum. Let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Karakum by Brain Games. Let's start with the components. I like that it comes in a very small and compact box that has just enough room for all of the cards that come with the game, and that's perfect. It doesn't take up a lot of space and you can easily bring it with you to play just about anywhere. So that's good. It's also a pretty sturdy box, and the cards themselves are also of a very good quality. Nice and thick. They have a a smooth finish. Looks a bit linen, but I don't know. I think it's just a smooth finish. They do seem to fray a little bit now and then after, you know, multiple games. Of course, there are a few cards that show a little bit of wear, but I have been playing this quite a lot. The artwork is really nice. It's very minimalistic. Basically, everything in the foreground is a silhouette, and on the back of the card, same thing. But I really like the way this looks. And also what I noticed is that the higher the value of the camel, the higher the pack on its back, which is also a nice little touch. I also appreciate that you have this Camel Master card with a man and a woman on either side. Also a silhouette, and I like that all of these, they match up so nicely, so you get a nice panorama in the dark night sky of your camel handler, your caravan master, and all of these camels behind them connected by these ropes. It just looks really nice, has a really satisfying look on the table. I also like the bright cards for all of the resources. That just looks really nice. It's very clear what it is, what color it has, and the icon is also very big, printed on the middle of the card and in the corner. So if you fan them out, you can also see those icons there. Should you have trouble, you know, recognizing all the colors, there are different icons on them as well. So that is also good. The theme is, of course, well, could have been anything, to be honest. It's nice that you're making this caravan, you're buying camels, and that's basically it, with goods that you collect. So it is a super simple game. So it just needed a theme, and I think it's a nice theme, but it doesn't really add anything to the gameplay, so no extra points there. The gameplay then is a lot of fun. I do find that it reminds me of a lot of other games. The way the market works reminds me of Ticket to Ride. You have all of these cards, you pick two, either from the open market or from the stack, or a combination thereof. If you pick the wild card, then you can only pick that one. That's exactly the same in Ticket to Ride. Also, the way you're matching your camels in your caravan, they either have to be the same value or the same color. That's something from Yardmaster or Yardmaster Express, where you're connecting train cars, you know, one after the other. It's basically the same thing that you're doing, only now you're doing it with camels. So there are a lot of things here that are reminiscent of other games. And they basically just picked a couple of really nice mechanisms and turn it into a quick little card game. And I think that works really nicely. It does remind me a lot of Yardmaster and Yardmaster Express. So that means that maybe you don't want both of those in your collection because they are so similar. But I do like this for what it is. It's quick, it's easy to learn, easy to teach. You can teach this to people in 5 minutes and you can just get started. And yeah, I like that. And you can also put your camels in front of your caravan. They'll be worth half points. And then as soon as you can connect them to your caravan, you can still put them behind them. And, you know, so that's fun. That's a fun thing to keep in mind. You're also constantly looking what other people are doing. You're gonna see what they have in their caravan, so you can also deduce what camel they are likely to going to buy in the next round, and you might want to steal them away before they get a chance. So it is a lot of fun. With 2 players, there's a bit of back and forth. It's not that exciting. But with 4 players, you know, it takes 3 turns before it's your turn again. So it might be very nail-biting to see if you can get that camel that you want before anybody else does. So there's a bit more competition with more players, which I also do enjoy a lot. But it plays just fine with 2 players. The replayability is okay. I mean, it's the same game that you're playing over and over, but it's quick. And you're basically just shuffling the cards. So all you're doing is randomizing which camels are in the market and which resources you can get. And that's it. There's a little bit of luck involved if you don't want to pick cards in the market here, and you're just randomly drawing some resources, just like in Ticket to Ride again. But yeah, since it's fast, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and you're likely to want to play a couple of games of this. It's a good filler. Replayability is basically as good as long as you enjoy playing the game. There is no language dependency, so that's also good. Language dependency, not an issue, because all the resources simply have a color and a symbol, and the camels have a color and a symbol and a number, and that's it. So other than the rules, which comes in a, there's a couple of rules, a couple of languages in the box, a few leaflets with different languages. So other than that, the game itself is fully language independent, which is also very good. So in the end, it is a very light but very enjoyable filler game by Brain Games, and I'd like to thank them for giving me a copy to try and review. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. That really does help the channel. And please also check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below or the icon at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.